Recording in progress. Good evening. Is that I'm audible? Okay. So we were supposed to start 10th chapter. Now, so here, whenever we consider, just a second, I'll show you the 10th chapter. Lemon tea. Okay. So I think so it is visible for you people now. This is the first chapter. The chapter is related to development, sir. Okay, the chapter is related to what? Development. Here, when I say development, okay, this whole topic, sir, whole topic, if I want to say anything related to this topic called development or the idea of development, what is this idea of development, how this idea of development will takes place, and what is the difference between development and growth, what is the difference between development and growth, how you differentiate growth with development, and all this. So obviously, like if I take the example, so if I take the example, okay, whenever we take the example, so the first question arises, the first important question arises is, so whenever you take, okay, whenever you consider development, sir, development, Sir, for a like again, this table, sir, you can write whatever you want here. Don't worry, I'll tell you what you have to write. Sir, when you consider, okay, the development for the different people, different set of people, okay, different set of people. Here, the first question arises. The first important question arises is, sir, in the mindset of the, like landless rural laborers, okay, if you ask him, okay, we'll say what? Okay, development means what? Development is for him, okay, more days of work, better wages, okay, more days of work and better wages. So if we get more wages and okay, better wages, for him it is a development, sir. For him, that is a development. One thing. And not only that, okay, if assume that if the child or the children, okay, assume that he is having more than one. So if the children, okay, if the children are having, okay, better school. So automatically, if the children are having better school, so that is also considered as what? Development for that particular person. Is it okay? And if there is no social discrimination, no caste discrimination, so they will not put any restriction on what a particular caste man. You should not enter this hotel or you should not enter this social, okay, maybe I can say one public place. If they put all this restriction, okay, then you can't say that it is a developer. It's a developer society. Okay, it's a developer society. Is it okay? Now the first question arises. Here the first question arises is here the first question arises is whenever you say, okay, this this is one with respect to landless rural laborers. What about if you ask the prosperous farmers from Punjab? Okay, prosperous, okay, farmers from Punjab. See, if you ask the rich farmers from Punjab, if you ask them what they will say, see, they may say that, sir, I'm settled. I need more price for my commodity. And along with that, my children should study abroad. They should settle down in abroad. Okay, here, my children should be settled down in abroad. Now you tell me, farmers who depend only on rain for growing crops, for them, what is the developmental goal? Very good. They either they may say that irrigation supplies are support, or they may say that there should be a certainty in the rainfall. You can write that also. There should be a certainty in the rainfall also. Is it okay? Then just tell me for a rural woman from a landowning family, in according to her, what is the development goal for her? Okay, education and freedom. Okay, then she may say that for me, education and freedom. Then other than that, see, a rural woman from a landowning family, remember that landowning family, not only education, not only freedom, she also says that in decision making process, my involvement should be there. My involvement should be there. Equal representation. That is what? In decision making process, we will also consider me. Okay. So that is what? My involvement, decision making process. Now, if you ask urban unemployed youth, what is the development for them? Is it only employment opportunities? Okay, one is employment opportunities. But remember that employment opportunities, they may get employment, but the problem is, see, that whatever the employment they'll get, sir, okay, employment they get. So with respect to, okay, with respect to this, remember their education, they should get a proper employment or proper job, I can say. Proper job, I can say. Is it okay? Proper jobs. Next, a boy from rich urban family. Do you think that he will always think about only Going with family business only. Is it only this one? Then traveling, entertainment, is it only? To think about that is to think about that is an investment. Sorry, that is a developmental goal of that particular person. Obviously, you will have a freedom, sir. You will have more freedom. He may say that better participation, better, better participation in the business, better participation in the business, so that he can improve their business in his modern idea. Because the family may not take him in such a way that okay, they may feel that hey, you are not that much okay intelligent. Say that let me okay participate in the family business with okay better participation. Simply not joining to the family business. Now, a girl from rich urban family, remember, she gets as much as freedom as her brother and is able to decide what she wants to do in life. This is common in every, it may be urban or it may be rural girls. Okay. And now, an Adivasi from Narmada Valley, an Adivasi from Narmada Valley, they may say that, they may, for them, is only one thing. Don't increase the height of height of Narmada Dam. That's it. So that they need not to replace or they need not to relocate. They need not to relocate. Sir, like this, remember, development is a, that is why we always say that development is a qualitative rather than quantitative, sir. Because it's a dimensions are different, sir. Okay, dimensions are different. Dimensions are different. Here, whenever you say dimensions are different. Sir, with respect to that, see the overall issue of development, if you consider, sir, is that only okay? Is that only owning some car, owning some house is only development? Now listen this. Read this. Different persons can have different development goals. That is the first thing. What may be the development for one may not be development for other. Remember this. It may even be the destructive for other. Is it okay? So take example for a contractor, okay, or for a farmer. For these two people, increasing the dam, the height of dam, that is Narmada River, is good because contractor will get more money, farmer will get irrigation. But remember, this is distractive. This development, what these people feel that development is distractive for what? Adivasi people, tribal people, tribal people. Is it okay? That is why tribal people are protesting against, okay, increase of, that is what I said, meeting against the raising the height of what? Sardar Vallabhai or Sardar Dam in on what? Narmada River. So that is why, see, don't ever compare with anyone with respect to development, sir. Your development, whatever you think about development, okay, is different from what other people. Other people. Is it okay? Now the first question arises is, now the first important question arises is, sir, when you go to, or when you take the consideration of what income, sir, most of the time the people feel that money is development. No, sir. No. No. Yes, I agree. Money is required for the development, but don't ever think that money is the only source of development, sir. Money is not the only source of what? Development. One thing. Sir, it is important to always think that, sir, individual development always help us to achieve the national development, sir. Individual development. When individually, take example, if I Okay, if I take an example, myself, if I develop, automatically with the help of my development, sir, even the country also develops, sir. Even the country also develop. That is the main issue you have to remember. Here, there are some activity that are provided. There are some activity that are provided, sir. So here, just read this activity. Try to just come up with some ideas about this activity, sir. Look at the picture on the right. What should be the development goal for such an area? Remember, one side you will find the I-store building or multi-store building. In the same, you will find hut dwellers. Correct? Okay, hut dwellers. A vessel dumped 500 tons of liquid top waste into open air dumps in a city in the surrounding sea. This happened in the city called Abidjan in the Ivory Coast, a country of Africa. The fumes from the highly toxic waste caused nausea, skin rashes, fainting, diarrhea, etc. After a month, 7% were dead, 20 in hospital. 26,000 okay, treated for symptoms of poisoning. A multinational company dealing in petroleum and metals had contracted a local company of the Ivory Coast to dispose the toxic waste from its ship. Now, just imagine for the ship or the contractor, he may get the revenue, sir. He may get the revenue, but local people are suffering, which means what? Is this people they don't have the idea of development. Now, sir, that is why then how you compare with development with other countries, sir? Other countries and other states? How you say that Karnataka is developed compared to what? Okay, Bihar. Compare with what, sir? Bihar. Is it Bihar is a developed state? No. Is it Karnataka is a developed state? Okay, that is a question. Here the question arises is, okay, here the question arises is, when you say that the development is different, okay, the development is different development is different for different states and different countries. Sir, on what basis? Is it only, is that any particular characters? Is it on any particular parameters? Nothing like that, sir. Nothing like that. Sir, most of the time you can't, okay, you can't say that a particular country is developed only because of what? Only because of some per capita income. Okay, you can't say that. You can't say only per capita income is the only criteria. Okay, for the development means it is wrong, sir. Why, sir? Because remember, take an example, sir, in India. In India, there are some people that per capita income will be close together per capita. Okay, there are in the same country, we find some people who don't have what, even they don't have 100 rupees per day also. Forget about 100 rupees, less than 100 rupees also. Even in poverty chapter also, we came to know that, okay, if a person earn $1.9 per day, okay, he's called as what? Poor according to World Bank definition. We discussed that. And around 27% of the people are poor. That is also we discussed, correct? That is also we discussed. Now the first question arises is, okay, now the first question arises, whenever you say all this, so what is the major issue of this, sir? What is the major issue of this? Sir, now the major issue with respect to this one is, sir, then, okay, see, there are some, okay, I can say in the index which are used to identify the development, sir. See, there is an organization called World Bank, which releases a report called World Development Reports. Okay, which releases a report called what? World Development Reports. This organization called World Development Reports, sir. World Development Reports will go for what? Will go for will go for giving or classifying the countries based on a parameter like what? Parameter like per capita income, sir. Parameter like per capita income. But whenever they go for classifying the countries based on per capita income, per capita income, here the issue arises is, here the main issue arises is, sir, is that any country per capita income is 12,056 per annum? Okay. more than this, okay, more than this, that country is a developed country. That country is a developed country. One thing, rich countries are developed countries. Sir. And remember, any country which is having less than $955, this is dollars, sir. Okay, less than $955. So that country will be called as what? That country will be called as, that country will be basically called as what? That country will be called as least developed countries or low income countries. And more than 955 and less than 12,000 zero fix. So these countries are called as what? Middle income countries. As India's per capita income is this much, here you will get this. Sir. Here you will get. So India will comes under what? India will comes under, okay, India will comes under middle income countries. Sir. Middle income countries. And obviously, like your Middle East countries, okay, our Western countries, they are called as what? They are called as, okay, they are basically called as what? They are basically called as, okay, they are basically called as rich countries. Sir. They are basically called as rich country. Now the question arises is, the first question arises is, sir, what about why India is called as middle income country, sir? Why India is called as middle income countries? Sir, India is called as middle income countries because, sir, even today there is a lot of people, their per capita income is very less, sir. Lot of people, okay, where I can say that, okay, I can say that their per capita income is very less. Their per capita income is very less. Is it okay? Now the first question arises. Now the first question arises is, sir, the major issue with respect to the development, sir, development, okay, development is, sir, even you can't consider only the per capita income as a development, sir, per capita income for the development. Now listen that. Sir, not only income and other criteria, if you take the income and other criteria, sir, Haryana, okay, is per capita income is 1,80,000. Okay. Haryana per capita income is 1,80,000. Kerala is approximately 1,63,000 and Bihar is 34. Based on this income, you can say that Bihar is the least developed state. But remember, okay, see, not only that, sir, is that only, okay, only per capita income is, okay, calculated or considered for the development? No, sir. Sir, you should also consider health. You should also consider literacy rate, literacy rate. Okay, sir, because take an example, Haryana may be economically they're developed, sir. Haryana maybe economically they're developed. Economically they're developed. Check it. Per capita income is more. But if you consider the IMR, or what is IMR? Definition here you get, but let me read the definition. Let me give my own definition. Sir, IMR is nothing but average number of children, death of average number of children per thousand live births, sir. Which means every 1,000 live birth, how many children, okay, will die before attaining the age of what? 1 year. Before attaining the age of what? 1 year. Is it okay? Before attaining the age of what? 1 year. Which means, see, from today, there are 1,000 live births, sir. 1,000 live birth. In that 1,000 live birth, okay, before attaining the age of 1 year, how many children will die? Okay, how many children will die? So now the question arises is, that is called as IMR, sir. Sir, obviously, if you consider the IMR of Kerala is just 10 and Haryana is 30, sir. So which means Kerala, socially they are developed. Just check it out, your literacy rate. Kerala 94% and Haryana is 82%. But overall, even in IMR health also, Bihar is low. Even literacy rate also low. Even economically also low. So we can say what? Both economically and socially. Okay. both economically and socially. Bihar is least developed. But read this. Bihar is least developed. But in terms of economically, Haryana is developed. But in terms of both economically and socially, sir. Socially. Okay, socially. Sir, your Kerala is developed, sir. Kerala is developed, sir. Is it okay? Kerala is developed. So that is why. So development is a, remember, why I said that development is a qualitative, it is not qualitative. And why it is a multidimensional because of this. Okay, because of this. One thing. The second thing is, okay, sir, when you take the example of, the next example, if I take, sir, is that only literacy rate, is that only health or per capita income will be considered for the development? Compared to any other parameters, these are the three parameters which are used, okay, mainly for what? Development, sir. Mainly for development. That's the first thing. The second thing is, sir, is that any, like even are the other countries also uses this parameter only? Yes, sir. There is a report called Human Development Report released by UNDP, United Nation Development Program. United Nation Development Program. The UNDP every year they releases a report called HDR report, sir. Even for HDR report also they consider only three parameters. Okay, they consider only three parameters. Which are those? Your literacy rate, this one, literacy rate. Second, life expectancy at birth, that is your health, and an average, okay, life expectancy at birth. And third is gross national income. Gross national income, sir. Okay, gross national income. Now the first question, say based on these three parameters, they'll identify, which means they'll take the data of each and every country. They'll take the literacy rate of India. Okay, like this, literacy rate of India. This one, like this is basically mean years of schooling, not literacy rate. They'll consider mean years of schooling, but literacy rate. They'll consider the literacy rate of India. They'll consider life expectancy birth. Okay, Sri Lanka 75. On an average, a person can live up to 75 years. In India, only 68 years. In India, what? Only 68 years. Myanmar 66, Pakistan 66, Nepal 70, Bangladesh 72. Then they'll consider what is the literacy rate. Then they'll take what is the gross national income. Gross national income. So based on these three parameters, HDA will give what ranking, sir. Sir, this is according to 2018. India's ranking is 130. Okay, according to like HDI, that is with respect to 2018, India's ranking is okay 131. Sir, the first question arises is, sir, why India even today in human development, why India's ranking is very low, sir, more than 100, more than 130, or I can say that 130, 131 in this range only. What is the reason behind this? The reason behind 130, 131 in this range is what? So obviously still we have to improve life expectancy at birth means what? Health services has to improve still, okay, I can say that mean years of schooling, people aged above 25. Sir, even today the literacy rate is less. Approximately in India's literacy rate is almost 74%. And gross national income also, just check it out. Sri Lanka's income is $11,000, sir. India's is just $6,000. India's income is what? $6,000. So whenever you say this, sir, you can easily say that yes, within Asian country only, within Asia, that to South Asia, sir. South Asia. India is not developed, sir. You can't say. You can't say within this one only. Okay. India is not developed. And most of the time, remember that most of the time, sir, most of the time we feel that development means what? We have to use all the resources are available. No, remember that. That should not be the case, sir. Why? Sir, we should go for following sustainable development. Sustainable development, sir. Sir, what is the meaning of this sustainable development? Which means what? We should use the resources. Okay. We should use the resources, but that resources, whatever we uses, okay, that should be allowed for what, or that should be okay required for what, okay, that should be required for future generation also. Take example groundwater, sir. Let's understand with the help of what groundwater. What we are doing, sir? Sir, almost in India, most of the wherever you take, sir, we are extracting the groundwater like anything, correct? Sir, according to some reports, by 2050, India will become water insecurity country. Remember this. India will become water insecurity country. Water insecurity country. Sir, why? Why India will become water insecurity country, sir? Sir, India will become water insecurity country mainly because of what? Sir, if you start extracting the water like this, we are overusing the water. We are overusing. So that much of water we are, yes, sir. And that too groundwater we are overuse, sir. We are overuse the groundwater. And sir, what about future generation? Sir, is it future generation will get the groundwater? That is the first question here. Okay, that is the first question here. Is it future generation will get the groundwater? Okay, sir, we don't know, sir. If we keep on extract like this, not only that. Take example. The best example is your crude oil. Crude oil, sir. Maximum, sir, in Middle East, another 70 years, it will maybe by 2070, okay, all the crude oil will be gone, sir, in Middle East countries. In America, in another 10 years. In the world, another 50 years. Now, what about future generation? You may say, no, sir, future generation will have electrical cars or electrical things. But the first question arises, okay, at least they should also need of this, sir. Okay, at least they see anything, which means what? Most of the time we feel that development means we should consume everything. Nothing like that, sir. Nothing like that. We should also think about what? The future generation also. Future generation also. Just solve this exercise, man. Come back. Development of a country can generally be determined by what, sir? All the above, sir. Don't ever think that most of the time we'll think about what? Only per capita income or average literacy level, health status of the people. No, everything, sir. We consider all the above. Okay. Which of the following neighboring countries are better performance in terms of human development than in India? Obviously, Sri Lanka, sir. Sri Lanka is above India, sir. Above India. Okay. Now, assume there are four families in a country. The average per capita income of this family is 5,000. 5,000 into 4. So 20,000 is the total income. If the income of the three families 4,000, which means 12,000, okay, and 4,000, sorry, 4,000, 7,000, and 3,000 respectively. What is the income of the fourth family? Fourth family. So 20,000 minus 14. So how much it will be, sir? 6,000. That what is the? So obviously 6,000, sir. Okay. Sir, like this, sir, that is what? Sir, whenever you go for calculating the, okay, or checking the development. So just if possible, with the help of whatever we discuss, try to solve this question also, sir. Try to solve this questions also. Okay, try to solve this question also because see the question arises is that's what I'm telling. Development, okay. If anyone asks what is development, there is no proper definition on this. There's no proper definition of it. That is what I told you that. For one person, the definition, the word definition is different with respect to other persons, sir. Okay. Now come to the next chapter, sir. Second chapter. Now, so in this chapter, we'll try to discuss about the various sectors of economy. Sir. Okay, various sectors of economy. Now, here the question arises is, okay, here the first question arises is, when you say that various sectors. Sir, if you look towards this picture, if you look towards these are the pictures, now check it out. There is one person maybe is selling what newspaper, correct? There is one person, okay, who is the coolie in railway station. Here, there are farmer, like farm ladies, they're doing cotton cultivation. Here, there is a cloth business. Someone is selling the cloths. Someone is selling the cloth, correct? And here, someone is making the brick, correct? Someone is making the brick, sir. Sir, the question is, okay, the question arises is, when you consider these, when you consider this, okay, when you consider this, sir, basically in any country, sir, in any country, the economic activities are divided into three important sectors, sir. Three important sector. One is primary, secondary, and tertiary, based on the economic activities. Based on the economic activities. Agriculture, sir, mainly agriculture, and allied activities like animal husbandry, fisheries, all this will come under primary. Not only that, sir, sorry, not only that, remember, quarry, mining also comes under primary sector. Sir. Mining also comes under what? Primary sector. See, whatever the goods which are produced with help of naturally, sir, here, naturally, whatever the goods are produced, which will be manufactured here, sir. Which will be manufactured here. Which will be manufactured. Is it okay? Which will be manufactured. And these manufactured goods will be okay sold to consumers. Sold services, sold to consumers. Okay, that is considered as what? Tertiary sector. Remember this, I'll repeat once again. Try to listen this. Sir, based on the economic activities, we'll divide, okay, the sectors into what? Economic sectors into three, sir. Economic sectors into three. Primary, secondary, and tertiary, sir. Primary, okay, secondary, and tertiary. Now the question arises is, now the first question arises is, when you say that, okay, when you say that the economic activities are divided based on the economic activities, our sectors are classified into three. So nowadays, along with these three sectors, sir, along with these three sector, along with these three sector, we nowadays they're also classifying one more sector, which are called as quaternary sector. Quaternary sector, that is fourth sector. See, basically nowadays R&D, research and development, is considered as tertiary only. Considered as what? Tertiary only. Okay, tertiary only. But the question arises is, sir, basically now some economists, they feel that no, we should consider R&D related. R&D related, research and education related should be as what? Fourth sector. Fourth sector. But officially, wherever you read, if you don't want that current affairs, most of the time we'll get only this three sectors on this. Okay. So the primary sector, mainly the sector which uses the sector which uses what? The natural goods. And second is what? The second is which manufacture the goods with help of this natural goods. And the third is if the goods are sold. That is called as what? Tertiary sector, sir. Which is called as what? Tertiary sector. Is it okay? Now the first question arises is, sir, when you say that, any countries are structurally they are divided like this. Now, just you only give me the answer with respect to this man. Just as like last chapter we discussed, just fill this table Imagine what would happen if farmers refuse to sell sugarcane to a particular sugar mill. The mill have to shut down. This is an example of secondary and industrial sector being dependent on what? Primary, correct? They're dependent on primary. Now, imagine what would happen to cotton cultivation if company decide not to buy from Indian market and import all cotton they need from other countries. Indian cotton cultivation will become less profitable and the farmers may even go bankrupt. If they cannot quickly switch to other crops, cotton prices will fall. Then what you can say, man? What do you have written here? The primary sector is dependent on what sector, sir? Secondary sector, correct? Because see, cotton, with the help of cotton, assume the textile will be made. If that particular company decided to not to have, okay, the cotton from Indian farmers, automatically the Indian farmers will get affected, sir. So which means primary sector is dependent on what? Secondary sector. Now, farmer buy many goods such as tractor, pumps, electricity, pesticides, fertilizers. Imagine what would happen if the price of fertilizers, okay, our pump set go up, cost of cultivation of the farmers will rise, their profit will be reduced. Correct? Again, same, sir. Which means what? Which means what? I can say that the primary sector is fully dependent on what? Secondary sector only. People working in industry and service sector needs food. Imagine what would happen if there is a strike by transporters and lorries to refuse to take vegetables, milk from rural areas. Food will become scarce in urban areas, whereas farmers will unable to sell their products. Which means primary and secondary and tertiary, all the sectors are interdependent. This is what I said, sir. They have said. Economic activities, though are grouped into three different categories, sir, are highly interdependent. Each and everything, sir, are interdependent. Correct? Take example now in the COVID situation only. COVID situation only, you come across all these examples, sir. Correct? Okay, even though based on the whatever the activities they are doing, you may specify. You may specify, but remember each and everything is interdependent, sir. Teacher, each and every sector is interdependent. Is it okay? Guys, is that you people are reading my words? Okay, stop here. Okay, we'll continue this with respect to comparing the three sectors tomorrow. Sir. Yeah. Once we complete everything, okay, we'll have some notes also. But basically, notes are not important. Sir, you have a book only, sir. NCERT book only. See, same thing we are discussing, but extra points we are explaining. For NCERT, there is no requirement of notes, but if you feel there is a requirement of notes, we'll think about it, sir. Don't worry. If you feel that notes are required, okay, then we can think about it providing the notes, sir. Don't worry. Okay. But when you feel, but most of the time, I may say that, so whatever the textbook you're having, NCERT textbook you're having, that is enough, sir. That is enough.